Okay, here we go. This presentation is going to be about ADHD, some of its symptoms, some statistics, and some of the comorbidity diagnoses that go with it. With ADHD, would like to start with a fun little video that just kind of explains a lot. It keeps it fun and lighthearted. Don't think it's going to let me click on it and show it here, but please do. Uh, what is ADHD? Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, ADHD, was previously known as ADD in the 80s. Earliest symptoms were actually diagnosed as early as the 1700s, and it has progressed as they gathered more information on it. It's one of the most common childhood disorders and can continue through adolescence and into adulthood. It's a chronic condition, including difficulty focusing, paying attention, includes hyperactivity and impulsiveness. It is marked with an ongoing pattern of inattention or hyperactivity, impulsivity, that interferes with functioning or development of everyday life. Inattention, hyperactivity, impulsivity, these symptoms can be experienced independently or a combination of symptoms. Symptoms include difficulty paying attention, being self-focused, fidgeting or hyperactivity, just not being able to sit still, ignoring danger, just lack of pause, uh, trouble paying attention, poor academic scores, reading difficulties, learning difficulties, lack of impulse control, procrastination, losing things, forgetfulness, lack of organization, argumentative, anger outburst, struggling with anxiety with family or peers, just overall difficulty following instructions. Now, some facts and statistics about ADHD. Boys are 13% more likely to be diagnosed with ADHD than the 6% of girls. Females are more often present as inattention or being inattentive. The estimated number of children aged 3 to 17 years old ever diagnosed with ADHD, according to a national survey of parents, is 6 million, 9.8% using data from 2016 to 2019, according to information from the CDC. Some more specific totals: 3 to 5 years, 265,000 on an average of 2% of children of the U.S. Ages 6 to 11 years, 2.4 million diagnosed, with a percentage of 10%. And then finally, 12 to 17 years, number ranges in 3.3 million or 13%. Some more statistics. Race even seems to play a factor in the numbers diagnosed. Black, non-Hispanic children, white diagnosed at 12% and 10%. Hispanics, 8%, or Asian non-Hispanic children at just 3%. State diagnoses of ADHD vary as well. 3 to 17-year-olds range anywhere from 6% to 16%. Treatment varies by state from 58% to 92%. Then they break it down with treatment by medication, 38% to 81%. Treatment by behavior therapy by states ranges from 39% to 62%. Approximately 64% suffer from other diagnoses along with ADHD. Now, almost 9 out of 10 children receive school support like accommodations in the classroom, having a para, somebody to work with them through their assignments through the day, reading to them. 6 out of 10 receive behavioral treatment or skills training. 3 out of 10 received parent-delivered behavior therapy. 4 out of 10 received social skills training. 3 out of 10 were treated with peer interventions. And 2 out of 10 receiving cognitive behavior therapy. Now, the median age for a severe diagnosis was 4 years. The median age for moderate diagnosis was 6 years. And the median age for a mild diagnosis was 7 years. So ADHD can be diagnosed at an early age. People who suffer from ADHD often have other conditions such as learning disabilities. I've already mentioned that. 3 out of 10 had anxiety disorders, conduct disorders, depression, and substance abuse disorders. Symptoms can change over time as the individual gets older. and again, often diagnosed with comorbidity diagnosis. Often diagnosed with oppositional defiance disorder. This is where individuals will resist tasks that require self-application because they resist conforming to other people's demands. Their behavior is characterized by negativity, hostility, and as the name states, defiance. You can't tell them anything. They'll argue with you just for the sake of arguing. Another common diagnosis, intermittent explosive disorder. This diagnosis comes with high levels of impulsive behaviors, showing aggression towards others, but not a symptom of ADHD. Who suffers from it? Everyone. ADHD doesn't just affect the person who has this disorder. The family, teachers, employers, friends, even strangers can be affected by this disorder and the accompanying behaviors of it. Meaning, just because you don't have ADHD doesn't mean that a person who does and is having symptoms isn't going to affect your everyday life or your interactions with them. What causes ADHD? Researchers have yet to determine a specific cause for it, but scientists have discovered a strong genetic link since it can run in families. More than 20 studies have shown evidence that it is inherited, yet it is a complicated disorder due to multiple interacting genes. There is no cure for ADHD. Other risk factors and possible causes could be due to brain injury, exposure to exposure to environmental risks like lead or pesticides, for example, during pregnancy or at a young age. The use of alcohol or tobacco during pregnancy, a premature delivery, low birth weight can all be factors that cause it or have an impact on it. Treatment options include medications, psychotherapy, education or training, or a combination of treatments. Medications can be stimulants or non-stimulants, and under certain circumstances, antidepressants, psychotherapy, and psychosocial interventions, behavioral therapy, where parental involvement is essential to a positive outcome. Now, the behavior therapy teaches the person how to monitor their own behaviors, or praise for acting in a desired way. They learn how to read their moods, know what kind of day they're having, and with that knowledge, they can kind of control outcomes and the way they're going to handle those. And it teaches them a way of recognizing those behaviors or those trigger signs so they can monitor it themselves. And as they get older, it gets better. ADHD is a complicated diagnosis with much needed continued research and study. This is my references. I just want to add something I did fail to get into my slides is ADHD was diagnosed as early as the 1700s with continued research at one point in 1980s before it hit the DSM-3. It was just listed as ADD, attention deficit disorder. About 1987, they added the hyperactivity, giving it the ADHD. This is a subject that is so deep with so much information. It's kind of like Alice in the rabbit hole. I delved in, and there was just so much there to get on here. Looking at my time, obviously, I had more time, but I was honestly worried about going over time. If you know anybody with ADHD, it would be well worth it to read more of the information, get a better understanding of it. I, in fact, chose this disorder because I do have a child with it, and learning about the disorder helps give an understanding of what they're going to and how to better navigate through the good days and the bad days. And knowing, having that information, providing that to them also helps them understand what's going on, that they're not alone, that they're not broken. Their struggles are just different than the people who don't have it. It can be a challenge. So hopefully this was informative. Have a great day.